We all know spicy romantasy books are having a bit of a moment right now, and I really enjoy a spicy romantasy book. So when this book subscription came across my radar, and it was not just a spicy romantasy book subscription, but it was also based not just in Australia, but in my very city of Brisbane, I knew what I had to do. I said to myself, Erin, you must test out the spicy romantasy book box for the good of the people. And here we are, 3 boxes later to tell you how it went. Hi, I'm Erin, and usually when I talk about books on this channel, it's through the lens of my reading journal, but no journal today. We're just going to talk about books and the subscription. So first, let's chat a little bit more about Bookish and Spice, who were specifically founded to make beautiful special edition books more accessible to Australia and New Zealand. Love that for us. With their bi-monthly fantasy romance subscription, which is what I've tried out, you receive a book every 2 months, and you can skip up to 3 books in a year without losing your spot in the subscription. Currently, if you're interested and you want to get on this subscription, you have to join a waitlist, which I'm pretty sure I didn't have to do when I signed up for this just over 6 months ago, so they have gotten more popular clearly in that time. It's really good to see a Brisbane business doing well. That makes me happy to see. They also have a dark romance box, and they've recently added, I think, a romance box as well. I've only tried the fantasy romance. Dark romance is not really my thing, but let me know if you want me to try out the romance box too. It is right there in the name, but I do want to just kind of hammer home that this is a spicy book box subscription. They really play up the spiciness in some of their packaging and some of the inclusions. There was a very NSFW piece of artwork in one of the boxes that I opened, which I won't show you in the video, it's okay. I actually had a little peek at the author submissions page, and it actually specifically states that there has to be at least 1 spicy scene in the book for it to even be considered to be included in the subscription. So these are spicy books. If you're not a spicy book person, that's so fine. This subscription's just not for you. Something else I found on the author submissions page is that they include a mix of traditionally published and indie books. I don't think receive any traditionally published books. I think all of the ones in the 6 months I was subscribed for were indie books. And I'll tell you what I think of the books towards the end of the video. We'll open everything up and then we'll have a chat about what I thought, because I have read them all. Obviously, this book box is aimed at those of us in Australia and New Zealand, but they do also ship internationally. It costs $65 Australian every 2 months, including postage, or 68 New Zealand. If you're an international subscriber, you'll pay 55 Australian dollars, not including postage. So postage is going to vary depending on where you are. I just subscribed for this like a few days ago, and so I wasn't sure if I would have to wait until whatever the next period is, because this is every 2 months, but hey, it shipped straight away and it is early April, and now I've got a Bookish and Spice box to open. So let's have a look. It's a beautiful box. It's very glossy. I love the logo. Oh my goodness. Oh, okay, this is a bit of an experience. Let me just, oh, okay. I didn't know that was gonna be there. That's actually not a trope that I like. It's funny though, I appreciate that they've done it. Look at this box. There's a little sneaky peeky going on in here. Okay, they're really leaning into the spice here, like a lot. Ooh, a pin. Oh, okay. I'm assuming this matches the book from what I could see. I love a pin, you know I love a pin. That's beautiful, I love the dragon, I love the tea. I don't know anything about this book, but I guess I'm about to. This little envelope is interesting to me because it says NSFW content enclosed. I don't know if I'll be able to show you what's in here, but I do want to show you this really beautiful blind emboss. That's very, very sleek and fancy. What am I about to see? I don't know. There is more. Hold on. Okay, this is freaking cool. Author's signature as a sticker so that you can put it in the book as a little book plate if you want to. That is freaking amazing. This is gorgeous, this little photo card. Dragon captures maiden. Maiden makes dragon's life absolute hell. At the end of a terrible war, a sorcerer casts a curse that destroys every female in the entire race of dragons. In retaliation, Kerrigan, the dragon prince, leads a raid on the sorcerer's kingdom, during which the male dragons snatch human women and carry them off to the dragon's domain. When Princess Cirilla is captured by the Prince of Dragons and taken to his cave, she is furious, terrified, and determined to make his existence so miserable he'll either have to kill her or let her go. Kerrigan's frustration with his pretty captive is compounded by the fact that his plan to turn all the human women into female dragons isn't working. The enchantress he kidnapped isn't powerful enough to work that spell. The most she can do is give the male dragons the ability to shift into human form for a number of hours each day. As Cirilla and the other captured women scheme for their freedom, the dragons struggle to cope with the strangeness of having human bodies for the first time. Neither side realizes that a much greater enemy is watching, waiting to destroy them all. Sounds like a fun ride, and this is written really well, so that gives me hope for the book. We've got a bookmark here. That is very pretty. You need to be a good fucking girl. The gold emboss, the font is beautiful. That's kind of hilarious. Look, I'm Australian. I'm not afraid of a little swearing. I do try to keep my channel family friendly though, so this is a little bit of a departure for me. I'm guessing that this is the NSFW part, which, look, I'm here for a bit of smut, but I'm not about to show you that in a graphic way on the channel, so I'm just gonna... Oh yeah, that's full frontal. Okay. Just looks like a dude with claws, but they're in an intimate moment. I'm not gonna show you that. Let's have a look at the book, because this is the main event, right? This is what it's all about. Very secure way to ship the book. Like, I'm not worried about books getting damaged in transit at all there. Here's the cover. Check it out. Well, here's the dust jacket, I guess. Oh, it's a little bit fuzzy and torn at the bottom here. Not sure what that's about. And the back has what looks to be a quote here. We are creatives, creatures. We are creatures of sky and flame, and once our fire has died, we return to the air. With a little dead dragon. He's really cute though. And I want to see, oh, well, that's quite beautiful. I never really got the appeal of the whole sprayed edges thing because I've never owned one, but now that there's one in my hands, it's kind of starting to make sense to me. What does the cover look like? Oh, I think it's one of those reversible covers. So if you don't want the gold gilded side out, you can flip it over. That looks like maybe a more traditional cover. And then here we've got, similar to the artwork here, the gold emboss, deboss, I guess. Wing, dragon, girly, pretty. And then it seems like there is some art inside as well. Oh, throughout maybe? Or am I just seeing the, what's going on here? Oh, there's a playlist. Cool, I love when they come with a playlist. Trigger warnings, always good to know. Okay, I thought there might have been some art distributed throughout, but I think that's just the page edges doing their thing. And the first page of a new chapter seems to have the image of the character it's from the perspective of. We've got dual POV here, so this guy's chapters get the dragon eye, her chapters get her beautiful hair, and a very nice tiara. That is quite lovely. Okay, slightly less NSFW artwork on the inside back cover here, but you can see where it's going, right? Yeah, this looks fun. I will read the book and report back. I do kind of think it's sort of nice that you have like a matching bookmark. This would go great in the reading journal, you know? And that's just beautiful. I hope I like the book so that I can be proud to wear this on my Morris vest. Let's check out Bookish and Spice box number 2. I'm actually so excited. Tear me open. Whoops. Failed. That's never getting old, is it? That's so funny. Gosh, they do a good job of making sure your book is nice and safe. Okay, we've got a pin on the top here. Gosh, they do nice pins. The stars are dying. Chloe C. Peñaranda. Pretty. Okay, under our protective layer here. I wonder if we're gonna have anything really NSFW like last time. The stars are dying. This is a blurb on the book. The brightest star needs the darkest night. In a world abandoned by the celestial guardians and left to suffer a tyrant king's reign, all Estrella knows is safety in seclusion. Why does that name sound familiar? Estrella. That's ringing a bell. With fragmented memories of only 5 years of her life, she's determined to discover more about her past, even if that means fleeing the cruel arms that hold her safe from the wicked vampires rumoured to roam the land. But when Estrella stumbles upon the mysterious Knight, N-Y-T-E, interesting spelling, she soon realizes determination alone isn't enough to guard her heart. He lingers like the darkness that expands between the stars, and soon she discovers her captor's wicked means of control weren't based on a lie to keep her under locks after all. In her desperation, Estrella accepts Knight's help before she can decide if she might have sold her allegiance to one of the bloodthirsty beings the people of her world fear. Once their bargain is struck, Estrella's chance to escape comes in the form of accompanying her best friend Cassia to the King's Central. There, on royal territory, it's the centenary of the Libertatum, a succession of trials hosted by the king in which 5 human lands compete for a cycle of safety from the vampires seeking blood, claiming souls, and savaging after dark. 5 human lands compete. It's giving deadly trials, that's always fun. So when tragedy strikes, Estrella must decide if taking the place of a murdered participant for the safety of her kingdom is a ruse worth dying for, or if protection and the answers to her past really are her strongest desires. Nice artwork too. That could go in the reading journal along with the book. We've got a bookmark. Beautiful artwork. So luminous. When falls night, the world will drown in starlight. That's so pretty. I wonder what that font is. And then we have, oh, book plate, signature, very nice. And the book, the main event. So nothing super NSFW in the package this time, which I'm so fine with. I have nothing against the spicy art, but I also do not crave it. Oh, this is a beautiful book. Check out the dust jacket. The silver gilding, that's so pretty. I gotta admit, something about the bustle on the artwork on this dress is giving those like ruched butt tights for some reason. That's what it's giving me. When falls night, the world will drown in starlight. Same quote from our bookmark here. It's the spine. And the, if you like a sprayed edge, I think this is one of the best ones I've seen. Fair enough, I don't have that many physical books, so maybe my world is limited, but I do think that is gorgeous. And shall we take a look at the cover? Oh, that's gorgeous. Oh yep, reversible. Again, if you want to have different artwork on the cover, you've got this side if you want to flip it around. I'm pretty happy with this one, I think. I love that lettering. Very, very nice typography there. Check out that purple deboss on black. That's so spectacular. That's the back cover. Here's the front. I think this is gorgeous. It'll be interesting to see how all this imagery ties into the book, because we've got lots of celestial, obviously, stars, moon phases. This looks like a phoenix. We've got cat of some kind, more of the moon phases and the constellations and stuff going on. So it'll be really interesting to see how this all connects. And let's see what we've got as far as artwork. That's the first end sheet. She's got some fire in her eyes. Let's have a little, ooh, is that the same artwork? Yeah, it was. Some really lovely artwork on the chapters headers as well. Beautiful. It's a hefty one. What are we looking at here? Not looking at the content, just the page number. 418. Oh, there's a beautiful, no spoilers, beautiful artwork on this final page as well. Ooh, okay, there's our NSFW moment. It's a little bit less overt than last time. Last time was just, it was in your face, you know. That looks really fun. Looking forward to diving in soon. And here we are with Bookish and Spice number 3. They had some kind of production delays with this one, so it didn't end up arriving until September. But that's okay, because it gave me time to read the other books. So let's do the thing. As ever, this is so entertaining. I have avoided all of the spoilers and stuff, so it's always a surprise to me what I'm gonna find in here. And, I can't remember if they're the same from one to the next. Slaying the Shifter Prince, Clare Sager. I recognize that name, I've heard that name. That's so pretty. The tiger? Interesting. I tell you what, I got a lot of use out of one of their beautiful special editions for all my spooky season content, so they definitely look great. I don't think anybody's questioning that. Look at this artwork. Hello, Fabio. Pretty. The bookmark, it seems a bit different this time. Rounded edges. I don't think the others had rounded edges. Oh, he's a fairy of some sort, I think. He has pointy ears. She was willing to sacrifice anything for revenge, but she thought she was only gambling with her life, not her heart. Aerial performer Zita has dedicated 10 years of her life to one thing and one thing, vengeance. What? I think there's a word missing there. One thing and one thing only? Colon? Vengeance? I think that's what they were going for. Armed with an iron blade, she must take to the silks and give the performance of a lifetime to kill the notorious Prince of Monsters. The Fey Prince, I was right about the ears, responsible for her sister's death. Wow. But when Zita's plan fails, she finds herself imprisoned, sentenced to be the prince's pet as punishment for her crime. Wait, wasn't this a K-drama with Jungkook Sok? Except he was the pet and she was... Anyway. With cruelty as sharp as his claws. This font makes it really difficult to recognize punctuation. Everything looks like a full stop. With cruelty as sharp as his claws, Sepha, is that his name? Is everything Zita expected from her enemy, yet he's also patient and obsessive, particularly when it comes to his pet's punishment. Nevertheless, Zita refuses to surrender, not even to a Fey prince. Sepha may have collared her, But nothing can stop her from getting her revenge, not even at the cost of her heart. I hope this book lives up to the artwork because the artwork's freaking stunning. Oh, look at those edges. Okay, let me bust in here. I'm gonna open it so carefully. Do not want to damage. All right, let's just take a minute to peruse here. This is the dust jacket. Please enjoy the gold. The back cover. Don't you know, little bird? Cats like to play with the little creatures they catch. Clearly he shifts into a tiger. As a cat person, that is very exciting. The spine is beautiful, a little bit like of an Art Nouveau influence here. And let's see what the actual cover looks like. I wonder if they're working with the same artists repeatedly, because this looks very similar to the artwork in the last one. Here we are. Gosh, it's pretty. For the women who are more sharp than sweet, may we all find the ones who appreciate that. Ooh, it's very nice. A line in the note from the author here just caught my eye. It says, since its release, Slaying the Shifter Prince has been called unhinged on more than one occasion, and I rather like that description. Unhinged, happy unhinged reading, she says. There looks like there is some, okay, yeah, the first spread of each chapter has the tiger and Silk's aerial performer going on here. Very nice. And at the back we've got, oh, Sleepy Tiger. Oh, my Princess Jasmine dreams from young, honestly. That is a massive tiger. Assuming she is your typical tiny fantasy heroine. Oh, wait. Oh, we didn't even see that yet. That's beautiful. God, I hope this book is good. The spine. Wow. And the back. Hey, sisters, soul sisters. And of course we have to look at the edges. Aerial girl, tiger stripes, some daggers. Well, that's just freaking stunning, isn't it? So the inside of the dust jacket is actually much easier to read the blurb there. And the reverse dust jacket is also very pretty. What's it? I've already forgotten. Oh yeah, they're both great. They're both really lovely. I always just think this is the most beautiful though. Something about this, like the little bird quote, is giving Sylvester and Tweety in a weird sort of way. This is the last one I'm testing out for this subscription, and I'll report back with my findings. Now that we've opened everything up and we know what the books are, let's talk about the books, shall we? Starting with Serpents of Sky and Flame by Rebecca F. Kenney. This is a blanket statement that goes across all three of these books, but there is something you need to know about me before we discuss these books, and that is that I am a sucker for a beautifully written book. I like good writing. I know it's not something that's important to everyone, but it is important to me. If a book's not written well, I don't tend to stick around, which with this book box, these 3 months that I received books, or 6 months that I received books for, it's kind of a problem for me. This one is probably my favorite of the three. It doesn't take itself too seriously. This book is just like, let's have a good time, let's be a bit silly. If you've read any of the Ice Planet Barbarians books, it's kind of a similar vibe to that. I've read 4 of the Ice Planet Barbarians books and I've kind of stalled out at that point. I don't know if I'll continue with the series or not. Likewise, this one, I will not be reading the next book in this series. Oh, I've got a cat on my lap. Hello, Peaches. Hang on, honey, I've got many things. Cat tax. We're just gonna have Peaches around until she decides it's time to go. I actually found this one pretty easy to read until I got to about the last quarter of the book, and a certain like plot point kind of just made it backslide into non-stop smut. Now, I don't have a problem with smut in my books, but I do feel like it needs to serve the story in some way. Just having like sex scenes for the sake of it doesn't really bring me joy. But that whole last quarter of the book was basically just non-stop spicy scenes, and I was like, what are we doing here? We get it. Like, what else is going on? I think what really annoyed me about it is that the book did have a pretty decent plot going up until that point, and then it just kind of like gave up on it, and so I gave up on it too. And then it ended on a cliffhanger, and I was like, oh, I'm so mad at you. Like, I quite enjoy, honestly, usually when a book ends on a cliffhanger, but I knew I was never going to continue the series, so I was like, I guess that's it then. The characters in this one I found really inconsistent. Like, the dragons would speak to each other really formally, and then suddenly one of them would say, get your shit together, and I'd be like, since when? I think if you're looking for a bit of a rollicking, silly good time, it's not too bad. At least it was not difficult to read, you know? I read it pretty quickly. Once it was over, I was like, cool, I'll never probably think of you again. Onward. What do I even say about this? Actually, do you know what? Let's talk about its good points first. I exploited the heck out of the beautiful cover of this book for my Bewitched Book Challenge video. I used it as a prop because it is so, so beautiful. This book does not deserve to look this good. unfortunately. I didn't say what it is, did I? This is The Stars Are Dying by Chloe C. Peñaranda. For possibly the prettiest physical book that I have ever seen, certainly that I have in my possession. Oh, what an underwhelming ride. This one, it started out kind of strong actually. The writing was taking itself a little bit more seriously. It was obviously like a little unpolished, but we were going somewhere interesting. I was like, let's see where we end up. And then actually, how far into this book did I get? I didn't finish it. I got to 38% of this one, so around about the first third was going okay, and then very, very suddenly the writing took an absolute nosedive off a cliff. It seemed like maybe the first third of the book had been edited and done so pretty well, and then the editor stopped, maybe, and suddenly there was so much wrong, so much clearly unedited, not in a this scene is unnecessary way, but in a you clearly started writing this sentence, got up, walked away, came back and finished it and didn't reread what you wrote kind of way. I feel really mean. I'm not usually this brutal about books, but if you're gonna make an edition this beautiful, please can you fix the text before you send it to print? Like there was a sentence, I actually looked it up because I did this one on ebook. It was available through a library. I thought, great, I don't have to pay for it twice. I'd paid for the subscription already and I was hoping it was just the ebook, but I checked, I cross-referenced and it is in this too. There's a sentence that is just the letter M and it's not expressive, it's an accident. And then on the next page, let me read it to you actually. I highlighted it on my Kindle so I can find it in my Goodreads notes. Here we are. It says, a smoky voice pricked caused the hairs on my nape to stand up, and my note is good grief. Do you know what though? I didn't give up. I thought audio can hide a multitude of sins in this kind of situation. The library also had the audiobook. I borrowed it, but by that point, I didn't care anymore. And I really tried to stick it out. I took it to my subscribers and I asked in a reading journal video, like, do you think I have to finish this book to give a thorough review of the book box? And everybody said no. And then I returned the library book and I went, oh, maybe I should. And I borrowed it again. And I think I got another like 15 minutes in and I went, no, I'm pulling the plug. What's really disappointing about that though is that I think the plot of this book has potential. It didn't make me care enough about the characters to stick it out, and obviously the writing was like the biggest hurdle for me here. But I feel like in the right editing hands, this could be really good. So that I think is the most disappointing thing of all. And also the fact that it's freaking gorgeous. And I have considered keeping it just to use it as a prop, but I don't think I'm gonna do that. I think I'm gonna find it a new home. And that's about all I can tell you about this one. I didn't even get up to the scene that the like back cover spicy artwork is for. Didn't make it. So if Serpents of Sky and Flame was my favorite of the three, The Stars Are Dying was definitely my least favorite. This one is solidly mid. And like I didn't love Serpents of Sky and Flame either, so maybe it's a touch below mid for me, but this one was definitely more readable. This is Slaying the Shifter Prince by Clare Sager. I read Serpents of Sky and Flame with my eyeballs. I did that little hybrid combo to try and get through The Stars Are Dying. This one, I was like, let's just cut out the middleman. I've been burned, we're going straight to audio. Which was a choice because it meant I had to use an Audible credit on it, which means I kind of paid for this twice. And it's not a book that I would recommend doing that for, but I didn't have a bad time with it, you know? It's got some enemies to lovers, slightly dubious consent things going on, which I know is quite common in a lot of fantasy romance at the moment. It's not really my thing, but I tried to go in with an open mind and I did think it was pretty fun. It's a little predictable in some ways, but it did also surprise me in other ways, which I respect. I did really appreciate that the Shifter Prince, the titular Sifter Prince? He bakes. Shifter Prince, he doesn't bake. He's a saber-toothed tiger shifter, which is kind of fun. And it was cool to have a female main character who was also like an aerial acrobat. But did I care about anyone in this book? I feel like everyone was kind of horrible all the time. So as a girl who loves a story about good people with good souls, I do feel a little bit bad roasting these books as hard as I am, because I think the subscription, the service they provide, I think the quality of the products, not like writing notwithstanding the stories within, I think the physical products are fantastic. I think they're absolutely exquisite books. They would look amazing on your bookshelf. If you care more about a shelf trophy than you care about actually reading the book, we all know collecting books and reading them are two separate hobbies, right? Then these would make excellent shelf trophies. And I have a friend who actually displays her special editions with the sprayed edges out, and they look really good for that purpose. Unfortunately, these were my first foray into special edition books, and I don't anticipate that I'll be keeping any of them. I'm really curious about Bookish and Spice's forays into the traditionally published books that they may have done in the past, because I'm not trying to say that indie is bad. There are some fantastic indie books out there. Some of my favorite indie books have since been picked up for trad publishing, so, you know, there's kind of that overlap going on there, but I'm picky. I know this about myself, I'm picky. And I realize not everyone cares as much about the writing as I do, but you know, this is my review, and so I gotta be honest. I do wonder if I'd just have a better time maybe with their romance box. This was a fraught experience for me. Opening the boxes was so much fun. On the whole, I think the Bookish and Spice subscription is great if you're a voracious fantasy romance reader and you love an indie book. I think if writing is not important to you, you care more about plot. I wouldn't necessarily say you care more about characters in this context, because I don't feel like the characters were the most developed either, but if writing's not important to you, you care more about the plot, maybe you'd have a good time with these. 3 books later, I won't be continuing my subscription to Bookish and Spice, but I did have a really good time testing these out. I do feel like the books sometimes don't deserve the beautiful treatment that they've been given through the service. That is just my opinion. Everyone has different thoughts when it comes to books, and that's a good thing. And that's my experience with 6 months of the Bookish and Spice Fantasy Romance subscription box. I'm really curious, have you read any of these books? Did you have a different experience to me? Did you agree about anything? Did you read them in a different format and find that that was different to how I experienced it? Have you been subscribed to this box before? Would you try it in the future? Are you subscribed to it now? Let's just have a chat. I'm very happy to be a guinea pig here. I'm very keen to hear which book boxes you'd like me to try next. I'm currently testing out another Australian one, actually, the Harry Hartog monthly subscription, so stay tuned for that in the next couple of months. I'm sure there are many that I haven't heard of, so please let me know your favorites down below, or some that you're curious about that you just want to know what it's like before you dive in and spend your money. This is only my 2nd book subscription box review, but if you're keen to see the one I did last time, it was BookBox AU, which is another Australian book subscription. That one includes lots of like little treats and things, so there's a link to that here in case you'd like to check that video out. And just below that is a link to a video that the YouTube algorithm fairies have chosen just for you.